Rain fell hard on the tin roof of Sung Ho's workshop. The sound was like 100 small hammers hitting at once. Sung Ho liked that sound. It helped him focus on his work. Tonight, he was fixing an old tractor engine. His strong hands moved with care as he put each piece back in its right place. At 34 years old, Sung Ho was the best mechanic in the small mountain area near Seoul. People from 5 nearby villages brought their broken machines to him. Cars, tractors, water pumps, generators. If it had moving parts, Sung Ho could fix it. Almost done, he said to himself. He lived alone, so talking to himself had become normal. His small house sat far from others, with mountains on 3 sides and a thick forest on the 4th. He had lived this way for 3 years, ever since the accident that took his family. Some pain was too big to share with others. Sung Ho wiped grease from his hands with an old rag. Lightning flashed outside, turning night into day for a second. Thunder followed, shaking the windows of his workshop. "Bad storm tonight," he mumbled. Then he saw something strange. Through the window, high in the sky, a bright light appeared. At first, Sung Ho thought it was more lightning. But this light moved. It cut through the dark clouds, leaving a trail of fire. A meteor. Sung Ho stepped closer to the window. The light got bigger and brighter. It wasn't going past. It was coming down. Fast. The object hit the forest with a boom that Sung Ho felt in his chest. The ground shook. Tools fell from his workbench. For a moment, a bright blue light shone from the crash site, then faded. Sung Ho stood still, his heart beating fast. The crash was close, maybe 2 kilometers into the forest. His mind raced. Could it be a small plane? A satellite? Whatever it was, someone might need help. He grabbed his emergency backpack. Inside were a first aid kit, flashlight, rope, water, and some tools. He put on a rain jacket and heavy boots, then stepped out into the storm. The rain hit his face like cold needles. Sung Ho turned on his flashlight and began walking toward where he had seen the crash. The forest was thick and dark. His light made strange shadows dance between the trees. The ground was wet and slippery. Twice he almost fell. After 20 minutes of hard walking, Sung Ho saw a faint blue glow ahead. He moved toward it. The trees thinned out, and then he saw it. "What in the world?" he whispered. In a small clearing sat what could only be called a ship, but not any ship Sung Ho had ever seen. It was about the size of a small bus, but shaped like a teardrop. Its surface was smooth and dark, with lines of soft blue light running through it. Half of it was buried in the ground from the impact. The other half was torn open, showing its inside. This was no plane, no satellite. Nothing made on Earth looked like this. Sung Ho's mouth felt dry. "A spaceship," he said aloud, as if saying it might make it make sense. An alien spaceship. He should leave. Call someone. The army, maybe. But what if something, was hurt inside? Lightning flashed again. In that brief moment of light, Sung Ho saw movement inside the ship. Caution fought with curiosity. Curiosity won. Sung Ho moved closer, his flashlight beam shaking slightly in his hand. The ship gave off a low humming sound and occasional sparks flew from torn sections. Something was leaking too. A thick, glowing blue liquid that sizzled when raindrops hit it. Sung Ho found a tear in the side of the ship large enough to look through. He pointed his light inside. The inside of the ship was even stranger than the outside. It looked almost alive. Tubes and wires ran along the walls like veins. Panels glowed with soft light. Half of the control area was crushed from the impact. Then his light found something moving. At first, Sung Ho thought it was just more wires or tubes shifting as the ship settled. Then he saw eyes, large golden eyes that reflected his light. They blinked. "Hello," Sung Ho called, not expecting an answer. "Are you hurt?" A soft chirping sound came from the creature. It was trapped under a fallen section of the ship. As Sung Ho moved closer, he saw it clearly for the first time. The being looked a bit like a monkey, but with major differences. It had 6 limbs instead of 4, 2 legs, 4 arms. Its body was covered in short fur that shifted colors slightly when it moved, blue to purple to green, like oil on water. Its head was larger than a monkey's would be, with those big golden eyes and small flat ears. No tail. The alien was trying to free itself, but Sung-Ho could see that its lower body was pinned. It made more chirping sounds, faster now. Seeing Sung-Ho. "It's okay," Sung-Ho said in a calm voice, the same voice he used with scared animals. "I won't hurt you." The ship groaned, metal bending. More sparks flew from a damaged panel. The humming sound got louder, changing pitch. Sung-Ho didn't need to be an alien mechanic to know that was bad. The alien knew it too. It reached out one of its upper hands towards Sung-Ho. In its hand was a small device, shaped like a half circle with thin wires hanging from it. The alien tapped its head, then held the device out again. "That belongs on your head?" Sung-Ho asked. The alien chirped once, a sound that somehow seemed like yes. The ship shook. A panel exploded in a shower of sparks. The humming turned into a high-pitched whine. The alien looked at Sung-Ho with those big eyes, and Sung-Ho saw something universal in them. Fear. "Okay," Sung-Ho decided. "Let's get you out." He moved quickly, searching for a way to free the alien without causing more harm. The fallen section was too heavy to lift, but Sung-Ho found it was bent in a way that he might be able to slide the alien out. "This might hurt," he warned, though he knew the alien couldn't understand his words. Carefully, Sung-Ho worked to free the alien, pulling gently. The alien helped, pushing with its 4 arms. With a final tug, the alien came free. It immediately tried to stand but collapsed. Its lower body wasn't working. The ship gave a violent shake. The whining sound grew even louder. Outside, the rain had stopped, but the air felt charged, like before lightning strikes. "We need to go. Now." Sung-Ho took the small device from the alien's hand and put it in his pocket. Then he carefully picked up the alien. It was lighter than he expected, maybe 20 kilograms. Its fur felt warm and strange against his arms, almost vibrating. The alien chirped and pointed to a small container near where it had been trapped. Sung-Ho grabbed that too, stuffing it into his backpack. They barely made it out of the ship when the whining reached a pitch so high it hurt Sung-Ho's ears. He ran, carrying the alien, moving as fast as he could through the wet forest. Behind them, blue light grew brighter and brighter. Sung-Ho felt, rather than heard, the ship's final moments. A wave of energy pushed at his back, almost making him fall. The forest lit up around him with blue-white light. The air crackled. For 2 heartbeats, it was like standing in the middle of day. Then darkness returned. When Sung-Ho looked back, the ship was gone. In its place was a perfect circle of scorched earth. The alien in his arms made a soft sound. When Sung-Ho looked down, he saw those golden eyes looking back at him. They blinked slowly, once. "You're safe now," Sung-Ho said. "I'll help you." As he walked back toward his workshop, carrying the paralyzed alien, Sung-Ho had a strange thought. For the first time in 3 years, he wouldn't be alone tonight. Neither of them would. Dawn broke over the mountains as Sung-Ho finished making a bed for the alien. He had worked all night, first carrying the creature back to his workshop, then setting up a safe place for it to rest. He used a soft blanket on top of a work table that he had cleared of tools. The alien watched everything Sung-Ho did with those big golden eyes. It made soft chirping sounds now and then, as if trying to talk. Its 4 arms moved with care and purpose, but its legs stayed still. The alien was clearly smart. It understood it was being helped. "You need a name," Sung-Ho said as he placed a bowl of water near the alien. "I can't just call you alien all the time." He thought for a moment. The alien reminded him of his brother Jin, who had died in the same accident that took the rest of his family. Not in looks, of course, but in the way it washed him. careful, smart, taking everything in. Jin, Sung-ho said. I'll call you Jin, my brother's name. The alien tilted its head. It made a sound that was almost like Jin. Sung-ho smiled for the first time in what felt like years. Close enough. He remembered the small device that Jin had given him in the ship. He took it out of his pocket and looked at it closely. It was shaped like half a circle, with thin wires hanging from it. The surface had small lights that blinked in a steady pattern. It didn't look broken, but it wasn't complete either. Jin saw the device and chirped loudly. It pointed at its own head, then at the device. This goes on your head. Is it how you talk? Sung-ho asked. Jin nodded. The nod was not quite human, but the meaning was clear. Sung-ho handed the device to Jin. The alien took it with its upper right hand and tried to place it on the back of its head. But the wires didn't connect right, and the device fell off. Jin made a sad sound. It picked up the device again and pointed to some parts that were clearly missing. It's broken, Sung-ho said, but I fix things. That's what I do. He pointed to himself, then to the device. I'll try to fix it. For the next 3 days, Sung-ho and Jin worked on the neural device. Sung-ho brought his tools and small parts to Jin, who used its 4 hands to show what went where. The alien was very good with small, careful work. Even without words, they found ways to communicate. During breaks, Sung-ho showed Jin pictures in books. He said the names of things out loud, and Jin tried to repeat them. The alien learned fast. By the end of the 3rd day, Jin could say simple words. Sun, Jin would say, pointing out the window. Tree. House. That's right, Sung-ho would say, feeling proud like a teacher. At night, Sung-ho told Jin about his life, about the accident that took his family when their car went off a bridge, how he blamed himself because he had been driving, how he came to this remote place to be alone with his guilt. Jin couldn't say much back, but it listened. Sometimes it would put one of its hands on Sung-ho's arm in a way that somehow said, I understand, without words. On the 4th day, they had a breakthrough with the neural device. Sung-ho found that some small batteries from a remote control fit the power slots. Jin showed him how to connect the wires in the right order. Let's try it, Sung-ho said. Jin placed the device on the back of its head. Sung-ho helped connect the wires to spots on Jin's head that seemed made for them. Jin's fur parted naturally there, showing small ports that matched the wire ends. Sung-ho pressed the main button on the device. Nothing happened for a moment. Then the lights on the device glowed brighter. Jin closed its eyes and made a sound, almost a sigh. Did it work? Sung-ho asked. Jin opened its eyes. Work, some, it said in a strange, clicking voice. Not full. Sung-ho gasped. You can talk now. Yes. Talk. Hard. Think. Easier. Jin reached out and touched the device while Sung-ho was still holding it. A strange tingle went up Sung-ho's arm. The room seemed to spin. Suddenly, his mind filled with images that weren't his own. He saw a beautiful world with purple skies and floating cities. He saw beings like Jin, but in many colors, working with complex machines. He felt Jin's memories, the excitement of being chosen for a space mission, the pride of Jin's family, the fear when something went wrong with the ship. Then he saw another alien, like Jin, but with redder fur. They were both strapped in seats as the ship shook around them. The red alien was hurt, bleeding. Jin was trying to help, but the ship was falling, breaking apart. Sung-ho pulled his hand away from the device. The connection broke. He stumbled back, dizzy from the rush of alien memories. What was that? He asked. Mind. Link. Jin said. Sorry. Not. Mean to. Sung-ho sat down, his legs weak. There was another one with you. Another alien. Jin's colors darkened to a deep blue. Ta. My friend. Ship doctor. He died. Before crash. Sung-ho nodded. understanding the grief in Jin's voice. I'm sorry. Jin's colors shifted again, now showing flashes of red. Danger. Not only Ta and me. Had thing. Study thing. Study thing. You mean like a science sample? Yes. Danger thing. Small, small. Not see with eyes. Get in brain. Control. Sung Ho frowned. A parasite. You were carrying some kind of parasite for study. Jin nodded hard. In box. Special box. It pointed to Sung Ho's backpack, where he had put the container from the ship. Sung Ho's blood went cold. He had forgotten about the container. He went to his backpack and took it out. It was a clear cylinder with a sealed lid. Inside was nothing but some clear liquid. Is this it? The parasite was in here. Jin looked at the container and made a high alarm sound. It pointed to the lid. There was a small crack in it. Escaped, Jin said. Parasite escape. What does it do? This parasite. Jin touched the neural device again. This time, Sung Ho was ready for the mind link. Images flowed more smoothly. He saw tiny organisms entering the brains of creatures. He saw those creatures' eyes change, glow slightly. He saw them start to work together in ways they normally wouldn't. It takes over, Sung Ho said when the link ended. It controls them. Yes. Makes one mind, many bodies. Smart, very smart. Learns fast. And it's out there now. In the forest. Jin's colors pulsed with worry. Yes. Find. Animal first. Then more. Then. It pointed at Sung Ho. People. Sung Ho looked out the window at the forest. Somewhere out there, a microscopic alien parasite was looking for hosts. And once it found them, it would spread. We need to stop it, Sung Ho said. But you can't walk, and I don't know what to look for. Jin's eyes seemed to light up. It pointed to itself, then to the tools on Sung Ho's workbench, then made a walking motion with two of its hands. You want me to build you something, so you can walk? Yes. Help me. Move. Then help you. Find. Sung Ho thought about it. He was good with machines. With Jin's knowledge and his skills, maybe they could make something that would work. Okay, he said. Let's build you some legs. As the sun set outside, they began to plan. Neither knew that in the dark forest, the first animals were already changing, their eyes taking on a faint, unnatural glow. 3 days later, Sung Ho stepped back to look at their work. On the table stood a metal frame that looked something like the bottom half of a robot. It had 2 legs made from parts of an old motorcycle and a small electric motor from a washing machine. Wires connected it to the neural device on Jin's head. I think it's ready, Sung Ho said, wiping sweat from his face. Want to try it? Jin nodded. The alien could speak much better now. The neural device was working at about half power, Jin had explained. Enough to help him talk, but not enough to control the parasite if they found it. Help me, Jin said. Sung Ho lifted Jin carefully and placed him into the frame. Jin's 4 arms gripped the support bars while Sung Ho strapped the alien's lower body to the metal legs. Now turn on power, Jin said. Sung Ho flipped the switch on the small battery pack. The motor hummed to life. The wires on Jin's neural device glowed blue. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the metal legs moved slightly. Jin closed his eyes, focusing. The right leg took a step forward, then the left. It works, Sung Ho said, smiling wide. Jin opened his eyes. His fur rippled with colors of gold and green. Happiness, Sung Ho had learned. Yes, works. Not fast, but works. Jin took a few more steps, moving slowly around the workshop. Thank you, friend. Friend. The word made Sung Ho feel warm inside. He hadn't had a friend in a long time. You're welcome, he said. Now we need to find that parasite before it spreads. Jin nodded, his colors shifting to a more serious blue. Need to go to Crash Place first. Look for signs. They packed a bag with water, food for Sung-ho tools, and the neural device charger Sung-ho had made. Jin showed Sung-ho how to make a simple detector from parts of a radio and a cell phone. It wouldn't find the parasite directly, but it might find animals acting strangely. The walk to the crash site was slow. Jin's metal legs worked, but not quickly. The forest was thick, and Jin had to be careful not to get the frame caught on branches or rocks. When they reached the crash site, they found only a black circle on the ground. Nothing remained of the ship. Jin moved around the edge of the circle, looking carefully at the ground. "Parasite not here," Jin said, but he pointed to tracks in the mud. Animals came. Many animals. Sung-ho looked at the tracks. There were paw prints from several different animals. Rabbits, foxes, even a bear. All coming to the crash site, then leaving together in the same direction. "That's not normal," Sung-ho said. "Different animals don't travel together like that." "Parasite control," Jin said, already started. They followed the tracks deeper into the forest. Sung-ho checked the detector. It was picking up unusual signals. Not radio, not electric, but something in between. "Signal getting stronger," Sung-ho said after an hour of walking. "We must be getting close." The forest became darker as the trees grew thicker. Few people ever came to this part of the mountains. It was too remote, too difficult to reach. Suddenly, they heard a branch snap. Sung-ho froze. Jin's fur flattened against his body, a sign of fear or caution. From behind a large tree stepped a woman. She wore hiking boots, green pants, and a jacket with many pockets. She carried a small backpack and what looked like a camera. She stopped when she saw them, her eyes going wide at the sight of Jin. "Hello," she said, not moving. What is that?" Sung-ho stepped in front of Jin, though it was obviously too late to hide him. "I can explain," he said. The woman didn't run. She didn't scream. She just stared at Jin with great interest. "Is it an alien?" Sung-ho nodded slowly. "His name is Jin. He crashed in a ship a few days ago. I'm helping him." "Helping him do what?" the woman asked. Jin stepped forward. "Find dangerous thing. Parasite. Very bad." The woman jumped a little when Jin spoke. "It talks." "He talks," Sung-ho corrected. "And yes, we're tracking a parasite that escaped from his ship. It can control animals, and maybe people too." The woman looked at them for a long moment. Then she seemed to make up her mind. "My name is Jin. I'm a wildlife biologist. I've been tracking strange animal behavior in this area for the past 2 days." She took out a small tablet from her backpack and showed them pictures. Groups of different animals moving together. A fox standing guard while rabbits ate. Birds flying in perfect patterns. "This isn't normal," she said. "Animals don't behave this way naturally." "It's the parasite," Jin said. "Getting stronger, building network." Sung-ho looked at Jin. "We need to stop it. Will you help us?" Jin looked at Jin, then at Sung-ho. She nodded. "Yes, this is beyond anything I've seen. If something is controlling these animals, we need to stop it." With Jin's help, they made faster progress. She knew the forest well and had a map. She led them toward a place where she had seen the most unusual animal activity, a small valley with a cave. "There," she said, pointing down from a ridge. "That's where most of the animals seemed to gather." Below them was a small clearing in front of a dark cave mouth. Animals moved around the clearing in strange ways. Rabbits and squirrels formed a circle. Foxes patrolled the edges. Birds sat in the trees, all facing the same direction, like guards. "Not good," Jin said. "Very organized. Parasite is smart now. How do we stop it?" Jin asked. Jin touched his neural device. "Need full power. Can send signal to break control." "But your device isn't at full power," Sung-ho said. "Need parts," Jin said. "Special parts." "What kind of parts?" Jin asked. Jin described what they needed. things that sounded like advanced electronics. Sung Ho shook his head. We don't have technology like that here, he said. Maybe not same, Jin said, but similar. In town maybe. Sung Ho thought about it. There's an electronics store in the town, and I have some parts at my workshop. We might be able to make something that works. But we can't leave now, Jin said. Look. She pointed to the cave. More animals were coming out, and behind them was something larger. A bear, but something was wrong with it. Its fur seemed to glow slightly in the shadows. Its eyes definitely glowed, a faint blue light. Main host, Jin said, his voice tight with fear. Parasite Center. The bear lifted its head and seemed to look right at them, despite being too far away to see or smell them normally. It knows we're here, Sung Ho said. The bear made a sound, not a normal bear sound, but something that seemed almost like words. The smaller animals began to move, forming lines that started up the hill toward them. We need to go, Jin said. Now. They moved back from the ridge and started running through the forest. Sung Ho had to help Jin, whose metal legs couldn't move fast enough. Behind them, they could hear animals moving through the underbrush. They're following us, Jin said, looking back. Back to workshop, Sung Ho said. We can make what Jin needs there. They ran for almost an hour, taking turns helping Jin. The sounds of pursuit faded, but none of them believed they were truly safe. When they reached the edge of the forest near Sung Ho's workshop, they stopped to catch their breath. The sun was setting, painting the sky red. It's organizing, Jin said. The parasite. It's building an army of animals. Not just animals soon, Jin said. People next. Must stop now. Sung Ho looked at his workshop in the distance. Then let's build what you need, Jin. Tonight. As they walked toward the workshop, none of them noticed the small fox watching from the shadows, its eyes glowing with a faint blue light. It made a soft sound, almost like it was speaking into the growing darkness. And in the forest, the bear with the glowing eyes turned its head, listening. Then it began to move, followed by its army of controlled creatures, moving slowly but steadily towards Sung Ho's workshop, toward the only beings who knew how to stop it. Night fell as Sung Ho, Jin, and Jin worked in the workshop. Tools and parts covered every surface. Sung Ho connected wires while Jin guided him with careful instructions. Jin helped by reading Jin's notes and finding the right parts. This will send a signal that hurts the parasite, Jin asked as she handed Sung Ho a small circuit board. Jin nodded. His metal legs were powered down to save energy, so he sat on the workbench. Parasite has weakness. Right sound waves break connection to host. Like how certain sounds can break glass, Sung Ho said. He carefully soldered the last wire. I think it's ready. The device they built looked like a mix between a radio and a flashlight. It had a dish at one end to focus the sound waves and a trigger to activate it. Sung Ho had used parts from his old radios, cell phones, and even a microwave. Will it work? Jin asked. Only one way to find out, Sung Ho said. He handed the device to Jin. You should test it. Jin took the device and checked it carefully. Need more power. Signal must be strong to reach main host. Sung Ho frowned. We've used all the batteries I have. Jin looked out the window at the darkness. Could we get more from town? Town is 5 kilometers away, Sung Ho said. And it's night. The stores will be closed. Jin's colors changed to a worried purple. No time. They come. As if on cue, they heard sounds from outside. Small scratching noises, the shuffle of many feet, low growls. Jin moved to the window and looked out. They found us. The animals. Sung Ho joined her. In the moonlight, he could see shapes moving around his house, small ones and big ones, all moving with purpose, all with faintly glowing eyes. There are dozens of them, he whispered. And that, Jin said, pointing. Coming up the path was the bear. Its eyes glowed brighter than the others. When it moved, all the other animals moved with it, like they were parts of one body. Main host, Jin said, "Very strong now." Sung Ho stepped back from the window. "We need to make the device stronger. What else can we use for power?" Jin thought for a moment. "Car battery. Big power." "Yes," Sung Ho said. "I have one in my truck." "But the truck is outside," Jin said. "How do we get to it with all those animals out there?" Sung Ho looked around the workshop. "We need a distraction." His eyes fell on an old radio-controlled car he had been fixing for a neighbor's child. That might work. Quickly, he connected the car's remote to a higher power battery. Then he tied a small flare to the top of the toy car. "I'll send this out the back door," he explained. "When the animals chase it, we run to the truck." Jin nodded. "Good plan." Sung Ho helped Jin into his metal legs and powered them up. Jin gathered their device and the tools they might still need. They moved to the back door. "Ready?" Sung Ho asked. The others nodded. He lit the flare, which hissed and glowed bright red. Then he put the toy car down, turned it on, and sent it racing out the door and away from the house. The effect was immediate. Animals turned toward the bright light and loud noise. They began to chase it, moving as one. "Now," Sung Ho said. They ran out the door toward his old truck. Jin moved as fast as his metal legs would allow. They were halfway there when Sung Ho heard a loud roar. The bear had not followed the other animals. It stood between them and the truck, eyes glowing blue, teeth bared. "Stop," Sung Ho said, holding out his arms to block Jin and Jin. The bear looked at them, tilting its head in a very unbear-like way. Then it did something impossible. It spoke. "Why fight?" The voice wasn't natural. It sounded like many small voices speaking together. "Join us." Jin stepped forward, his metal legs whirring. "No, you hurt. You control." The bear seemed to smile. "Control is peace. One mind. No more. Alone." Sung Ho felt a chill. The parasite was intelligent enough to talk through its host, to try to convince them. "We like being separate," Sung Ho said. "We like being ourselves." The bear growled. Too late. It looked at Jin and made a strange sound. Jin suddenly gasped and grabbed her head. "Jin." Sung Ho turned to her. Her eyes were changing, a blue glow starting to appear. She was already infected, Jin said, but her voice sounded wrong. "Just a little. Just enough." She lunged at Sung Ho, grabbing the device from his hands. Her movements were jerky, not fully under control yet. Jin, fight it," Sung Ho yelled. Jin moved quickly, connecting his neural device to Jin's head. She screamed and fell to her knees. Jin fell too, his metal legs giving out. "What are you doing?" Sung Ho asked. "Fighting. Parasite. In her," Jin said, his voice strained. "Get device. Get battery." Sung Ho grabbed the device from where Jin had dropped it. The bear roared and charged toward him. He dodged, rolling under his truck. On the other side, he quickly opened the hood and connected the device to the truck's battery. The bear turned, looking for him. The smaller animals were coming back now, surrounding Jin and Jin, who were still connected by the neural device. Sung Ho aimed the device at the bear. "Hey," he yelled. The bear turned. Sung Ho pulled the trigger. Nothing happened. He checked the connections. One wire had come loose. He fixed it with shaking hands. The bear was coming closer, walking slowly now, as if it knew Sung Ho had nowhere to run. "One chance," Sung Ho whispered. He aimed again and pulled the trigger. This time, a high-pitched sound came from the device. Sung Ho couldn't really hear it. It was mostly above human hearing range, but he could feel it, like pressure in his ears. The bear stopped. It shook its head. The smaller animals began to move erratically, bumping into each other. Some fell over. Others ran in circles. It's working. Sung Ho kept the device aimed at the bear, moving closer to Jin and Hai-Jin. The bear roared in pain. Its eyes flickered, the blue glow fading in and out. It swung its head back and forth, trying to fight the sound. Jin was still connected to Hai-Jin. Both were very still now. Sung Ho didn't know if that was good or bad, but he couldn't check on them yet. He had to keep the device aimed at the bear. The bear made one last angry sound, then collapsed. The blue glow in its eyes went out. All around, the smaller animals were doing the same. Some lay still. Others began to move naturally again, looking confused. Sung Ho finally lowered the device. Jin. Hai-Jin. For a long moment, neither moved. Then Hai-Jin took a deep breath and opened her eyes. They were normal. No blue glow. "What happened?" she asked. "The parasite had started to control you," Sung Ho said. "Jin helped you fight it." Jin still hadn't moved. Sung Ho gently disconnected the neural device from Hai-Jin and checked on his alien friend. "Jin, are you okay?" Jin's eyes opened slowly. His colors were pale, almost white. "Tired," he said in a weak voice. "Used all power." "But you did it," Sung Ho said. "You stopped the parasite." Jin's colors shifted slightly, showing a hint of gold. "Happiness. We did." Over the next few weeks, Jin slowly recovered. The neural device was burned out from the battle with the parasite, leaving Jin unable to walk again. But Sung Ho worked every day on a new, better set of legs. Hai-Jin visited often, bringing supplies and helping with the work. She wanted to learn everything she could about Jin's world. Jin taught her what he could, using the simple words he could still say without the neural device. 1 month after the battle with the parasite, Sung Ho finished the new legs. They were more advanced than the first set, lighter, stronger, and with a small neural connection that Jin could use without the main device. "Ready to try?" Sung Ho asked. Jin nodded. Sung Ho helped him into the new frame. Jin focused, and the legs moved smoothly. He walked around the workshop, then faster, almost running. "Good," Jin said, his colors bright with joy. "Very good." Hai-Jin clapped. "You did it, Sung Ho." That night, as they sat outside looking at the stars, Jin pointed up. "Home," he said. "Up there." "Do you miss it?" Sung Ho asked. Jin thought for a moment. His colors shifted through several patterns before settling on a warm orange. "Yes," but he pointed to Sung Ho, then to Hai-Jin. "Found new home too." Sung Ho smiled. A strange alien had crashed near his house. He had carried a paralyzed alien monkey from a broken ship. And then something happened. Something unexpected. He had found a family again. Jin's fur glowed softly in the moonlight, sharing wordless feelings that needed no translation. Up in the night sky, a small light moved between the stars. Maybe a satellite. Maybe something else. Watching. Waiting. But that would be another story.